Hello and welcome to the class of solving problem in modern physics. I will start this session by telling a brief history about the modern physics. This is very interesting. So this starts with the early 20th century when black body radiation was observed. So if you heat a body and you observe the radiation coming from that body with the frequency at different temperature, then you observe a spectrum. Now, if you want to explain that observation, then classical mechanics was completely failed. So to explain that, Max Planck observed that the oscillator present on the wall do not have the continuous energy, but they have the quantized energy. So they can absorb or emit only quantized energy, and that was the foundation of quantization or the modern physics. And that was followed by the photoelectric effect. So in photoelectric effect, if you shine a light on a metal surface which has a work function phi, then the photoelectron start to emit. Now there was few observation of this simple experiment that put question mark on age-old classical mechanics. The observation was like if you shine the light of different frequencies, then the kinetic energy of these photoelectron continuously increases with the frequency of incident light. And there was no delay. As soon as you shine the light, then photoelectron start to emit. And the total energy of incident photon is equal to the work function, which is the minimum energy required to emit the electron to the metal surface, plus the extra energy is used as the kinetic energy of electrons. And this is a famous Einstein photoelectric equation. Now this observation was not able to explain by the electromagnetic radiation as a wave nature of light. So the Albert Einstein explained this based on the quanta of light is photon. So photon is shining on the surface and then it is being absorbed in a process and then it is emitting the photoelectrons. For that, Albert Einstein got Nobel Prize in 1921. This was followed by the wave nature of particle. So in photoelectric effect, we have seen the particle nature of light. Now that was followed by the wave nature of particle. So if we have suppose electron and we accelerate that electron at a particular voltage, then this electron can be represented by a wave which has a wavelength lambda is equal to Planck constant divided by the momentum, and the momentum can be calculated from the accelerated voltage. Now that is this explanation, this wave nature of the particle was used to explain the atomic stability and including the quantization of different orbitals and stationary states. Now if we look at this wave nature of the incident particle, that was proved by the diffraction of electron beam, and this is diffracted in the same way as the X-ray diffracted from the crystal, and it follows the diffraction law, which is a Bragg's law, which is 2d sine theta is equal to n lambda, where d is the interplanar spacing and theta is the angle of the incident electron beam or the X-rays. Now if you see the chronological order of this development, so this is very interesting. So Max Planck in 1900 first proposed that the quantization of energy. So the harmonic oscillator, the oscillator that is present on the wall of this black body can absorb or emit the quantized light or the discrete light. Now, followed that, Albert Einstein in 1905 proposed the photoelectric effect, and for that he got a Nobel Prize in 1921. After that, Bohr proposed, after considering the quantization of energy, Bohr proposed an atomic model in 1911, and there was another Compton effect which proves the existence of particle nature of light in 1923. In same year, in 1923, the wave nature of particle was proposed by de Broglie, and that was in 1927 proved by Davidson and Germer experiment, which was interference pattern of electron beam from the crystal. So let us see few problems based on this photoelectric effect and Bohr's model. Okay, let us take few problems. So in problem 1, it said that in the historical experiment to determine Planck's constant, a metal surface was irradiated with the light of different wavelengths. The emitted photoelectrons energy were measured by applying a stopping potential. The relevant data for the wavelength lambda of incident light and the corresponding stopping potential are given below. So given that velocity of light c is 3 × 10⁸ meter per second and charge on electron E is 1.6 × 10⁻19 coulomb. So we have to calculate Planck's constant in the unit of joule second. And in the table it is given the different wavelength of 0.3 micrometer, and the right hand side corresponding stopping potential V is 3 volt, and second one is 0.4 micrometer and the stopping potential is 1 volt, and 0.5 micrometer and the corresponding potential reduced to 0.4 volt. So you can see as we are increasing the incident wavelength, then the stopping potential is also reducing. So the solution is, like we know the equation SC by lambda is equal to work function phi plus kinetic energy. So we know that the kinetic energy, if we rearrange that, so kinetic energy will be SC by lambda minus phi. So we can say equation 1. So we can take any two values. So we are taking the first value, which is incident wavelength is 0.3 micrometer and the stopping potential is 2 volt. So you insert these values. So we have on left hand side the kinetic energy of that electron will be 2 multiplied by 1.6 × 10⁻19. That will be equal to Planck's constant h that we have to calculate, multiplied by the velocity of light, which is 3 × 10⁸, divided by the incident wavelength, which is 0.3 micrometer. So 0.3 × 10⁻6 meter minus 5. So the work function is not given. So we can say this is equation 2. So the next value we can take corresponding to 0.4 micrometer and the stopping potential is 1 volt. So the energy corresponding to that will be 1.0 multiplied by 1.6 × 10⁻19 will be equal to h into 3 × 10⁸ divided by 0.4 × 10⁻6 minus 5. So that we can say as equation 3. So we can subtract 2 minus 3, then we will have 1.6 × 10⁻19 is equal to h into 3 × 10⁸ divided by 10⁻⁻7, and in the bracket we will have 1/3 minus 1/4, and then if we solve that, then we will have h is equal to 12 into 10⁻⁻7 into 1.6 × 10⁻19 divided by 3.0 × 10⁸. So with that we will have the h is equal to 6.4 × 10⁻34 joule into second. Go to the problem 2. So it says that the electric field at a point associated with a light wave is E is equal to 100 volt per meter and sine 3.0 × 10⁻15 second inverse and then time, and it is multiplied by another sine function, and in the bracket it is given 6.0 × 10⁻15 second inverse, and then time. So these are the angular frequencies given in the question. Now, if this light falls on the metal surface having a work function of 2.0 electron volt, what will be the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons? So what we have to do, since there are two angular frequencies, so corresponding to that there will be two frequencies. So since in the question it is asking about the maximum kinetic energy, so we have to consider the highest frequency that can shine on the surface. So let us rearrange that electric field vector that is given for the incident light. So E is equal to 100 sine, okay, and then in the bracket two quantities, okay. So let us arrange it. So we know that 2 sine A sine B is equal to cos A plus B minus cos A minus B. So if you use that, then it will be 100 multiplied by 1 by 2, and then cos 9 10 to the power 15 t minus cos 3 10 to the power 15 t. So we have the two angular frequencies, omega 1 and omega 2. So omega 1 is 9.0 10 to the power 15, and omega 2 is 3 10 to the power 15. So from there we can calculate what is the maximum frequency. So that will be, maximum will be omega by 2 pi, and that is corresponding to 9 into 10 to the power 15. Okay, so the maximum frequency will be 9 to 10 to the power 15 divided by 2, and then 3.14. So that is the maximum frequency. So we have to calculate the maximum kinetic energy. So we know the formula, h nu is equal to kinetic energy plus work function. So kinetic energy will be h nu minus work function. So put all these values, the value of Planck constant and the frequencies that is given, okay, and then it is in electron volt. So we have divided the whole number h nu divided by 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 to convert that into electron volt, and then we have the maximum kinetic energy will be 5.93 minus 2, that will be 3.93 electron volt. So this is the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectron emitting from the metal surface. Let's go to the problem 3, which says that find the maximum magnitude of the linear momentum of a photoelectron emitted when the light of wavelength 400 nanometer falls on the metal surface having a work function of 2.5 electron volt. So we have to calculate the linear momentum of the electron. So the same equation, Sc by lambda is equal to kinetic energy plus work function. So we know that the kinetic energy of the photoelectron, which may be represented in the term of linear momentum. So the p square divided by 2m. So the kinetic energy, which is p square by 2m, that will be Sc by lambda minus 5. So we can say that this is equation 1. We put all these values, the values of Planck's constant, speed of light, and the incident wavelength, which is 400 nanometer. So we convert it into that into meter, and then 2.5 is a work function. So we convert that also into joule. So p square by 2m will be 0.97 10 to the power minus 19. So p will be the under root of this value multiplied by 2m, where m is the mass of electron, which is 9.1 10 to the power minus 31. So the momentum of this photoelectron emitted will be 4.2 10 to the power minus 25 kilogram meter per second. Okay, so let's go to the problem 4, which says that find the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons ejected when the light of wavelength 350 nanometer is incident on a cesium surface. The work function of the cesium is 1.9 electron volt. So the wavelength that is shining on the surface is 350 nanometer, and the work function of that metal is 1.9 electron volt. So we have to calculate what is the maximum kinetic energy. So we know that Sc by lambda is equal to kinetic energy plus work function of that metal. So the kinetic energy is, you can just rearrange that. So it will be Sc by lambda minus 5. So you can rearrange that, okay? And then Sc by lambda, you can also convert that into electron volt by dividing 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. The kinetic energy of this, maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectron will be 1.65 electron volt. Now the next question says that a monochromatic light source of intensity 5 milliwatt emits 8 into 10 to the power 15 photons per second. This light ejects photoelectrons from a metal surface. The stopping potential for this setup is 2 volt. Calculate the work function of the metal. So the light which is shining on the surface is given, which has 5 milliwatt, okay, and the number of photons per second is 8 into 10 to the power 15. So we can calculate what is the energy of the single photon if we divide this total energy, okay, divided by the number of total photons. So the energy of the incident photon will be 5 10 to the power minus 3, okay, which is watt, divided by 8 into 10 to the power 15. So we have 6.25 10 to the power minus 19, which is joule per second. So we have now Sc by lambda is equal to work function plus kinetic energy, and the work function will be Sc by lambda minus kinetic energy. So Sc by lambda, that is the photon, the energy we have already calculated, is 6.25 10 to the power minus 19 minus 2 into 1.6 10 to the power minus 19. So 5 will be 3.05 10 to the power minus 19, and you can convert that into electron volt. So that will be 1.906 electron volt. Now the next question says that the UV light of wavelength 450 nanometer and intensity 2 watt per centimeter square was shined on a metal surface. Calculate the amount of current flows in the outer circuit due to the photoelectrons emitted from the metal surface having an area of 2 centimeter square, considering only 5% of the incident photon produces photoelectrons. Consider the energy of the photon is more than the work function of metal, and the efficiency to collect the photoelectrons is 100%. So the last line says that the efficiency of the collection, that means we are in the saturation regime to collect these electrons to the collector plate. So let us see. So in the schematic diagram, you can see that there is a emitter plate where 450 nanometer photons is being shined, and then electrons are emitted. But only 5% of this incident photon is converted into the electrons. So we have to calculate what is the amount of current flowing in the outer circuit. So incident wavelength is 450 nanometer and the intensity is 2 watt per centimeter square. So we can convert that. So number of photons, what is the number of photons? So we can divide the intensity divided by the energy of the single photon. So that will be, so first we have to calculate the energy of single photon, which will be Sc by lambda. So that will be 6.63 10 to the power minus 34 multiplied by 3.0 10 to the power 8, and then the incident wavelength is 450 nanometer. Okay, so the number of photons will be 2, and then you divide that number, the energy of single photons, then finally you will see 45.24 10 to the power 17 photons per second per centimeter square. So this is the number of photons shining on the surface continuously. Now the next line says that only 5% of this incident photon is able to convert to the photoelectrons. So the number of photoelectrons will be 5% of the total incident photons. So that will be 45 into 45.24 10 to the power 17 into 5 by 100. So that will be 2.263 into 10 to the power 17 photoelectrons. So the amount of current corresponding to that number flows in the outer circuit will be the number multiplied by their charge. So that will be 2.263 10 to power 17 multiplied by 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So that will be 36 milliampere. So the next problem, which says that the light is being shined on a metal surface and photoelectrons are emitted. When wavelength of incident light is 532 nanometer, then the stopping potential of photoelectron is 0.5 volt. However, when the incident wavelength is changed to a new value, then the stopping potential is increased to 1.2 volt. Now we have to calculate what is the wavelength of that change light. So you can see in diagram, so the wavelength of 532 nanometer and an unknown wavelength is being shined, and the kinetic energy, the potential that you are applying to stop these photoelectrons is given corresponding to 532 nanometer, which is 0.5 electron volt, and the lambda for corresponding to lambda, it is given 1.2 volt. So the energy corresponding to that will be 0.5 electron volt, and corresponding to unknown wavelength, it will be 1.2 electron volt. So we have to calculate the wavelength. So we know that corresponding to one wavelength, this will be Sc by lambda 1, that will be equal to 5 plus kinetic energy 1, and the kinetic energy 1 is given 0.5 electron volt, and corresponding to lambda 2, it will be Sc by lambda 2, which will be equal to 5 plus kinetic energy 2, and corresponding to that kinetic energy 2 is given, which is 1.2 electron volt. And as we know that phi work function is the property of the material, it will not change with the different wavelength. So using equation 1, so we know that Sc by lambda, which is 532 nanometer, is equal to 5 plus the kinetic energy, which is 0.5 electron volt. So from there, we rearrange it, we can calculate what is the work function, so which is 2.9 10 to power minus 19. Now we know the work function of the metal. Now equation, using equation 2, so we know that Sc by lambda 2 is equal to 5 plus 1.2 electron volt, which is the kinetic energy corresponding to lambda 2. Now if you put all these values and then rearrange for unknown lambda 2, then we can calculate lambda 2 will be 4.12 10 to power minus 7 meter, or 412 nanometer. So let's see the next question. So we say that the metal surface is illuminated by light of two different wavelengths, 248 nanometer and 3110 nanometer. The maximum speed of the photoelectrons corresponding to these wavelengths are V1 and V2 respectively. If the ratio of V1 and V2 is 3:1 and Sc is equal to 1240 electron volt nanometer, then the work function of the metal is nearly. So in diagram, it is clearly demonstrated that two wavelength 310 nanometer and 248 nanometer is shining, and the electrons are emitted corresponding to that. Now if their velocity, because their kinetic energy will be different, because the wavelength is shining is different, so if we consider their velocity V1 and V2, then their ratio is given and the work function is unknown. So we have to calculate that. So it is given that Sc is equal to the hν is equal to work function plus kinetic energy, and we can say Sc by lambda 1 is equal to work function plus the kinetic energy 1 corresponding to wavelength lambda 1. Corresponding to wavelength lambda 2, it will be Sc by lambda 2 is equal to 5 plus kinetic energy 2. Now we can also say that kinetic energy 1 is equal to 1 by 2 mv1 square, and kinetic energy 2 is equal to 1 by 2 mv2 square, where m is the mass of electron and v1 and v2 are the velocity of electron corresponding to lambda 1 and lambda 2 wavelength that is shining on the emitter plate. So for that we can write Sc by lambda 1 minus phi is equal to 1 by 2 mv1 square, and Sc by lambda 2 minus phi is equal to 1 by 2 mv2 square. So we can divide phi by 6, and then we will have v1 square divided by v2 square is equal to Sc by lambda 1 minus phi divided by Sc by lambda 2 minus phi. Now we have we have the ratio v1 by v2, which is 3:1. So the square of that will be 9. So we will have 9 is equal to Sc by lambda 1 minus phi divided by Sc by lambda 2 minus phi. And if you rearrange that, we will have the value of phi, okay, after converting to electron volt. So the number can be divided by 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So phi will be 3.88 electron volt for that metal. Let us see this problem. So it says that in a photoelectric experiment, the collector plate is at 2 volt with respect to the emitter plate made of copper, which has a work function 4.5 electron volt. The emitter is illuminated by a source of monochromatic light of wavelength 200 nanometer. Find the minimum and maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons reaching the collector plate. So we have a photon which is shining 200 nanometer, and the electron is being emitted, and then we have the collector, okay, that is at 2 volt with respect to the emitter plate. So we have 4.5 electron volt, and the wavelength which is given 200 nanometer. So Sc by lambda is equal to kinetic energy plus work function. So we can rearrange it, and then we have kinetic energy is equal to, you put the values of Planck constant and velocity of light and the incident radiation, which is 200 nanometer, and the work function is given 4.5 electron volt. So we can convert that into joule. So that will be 4.5 into 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So the kinetic energy will be 2.745 into 10 to power minus 19. So we can convert that into electron volt. So that will be 2.745 10 to power minus 19 divided by 1.6 10 to power minus 19, and that will be 1.7 electron volt. So the electron that are emitting from the emitter plate with a kinetic energy 1.7 electron volt. But the minimum energy will be corresponding to those electrons which are just emitting from the metal surface, and they are being accelerated by the relative potential applied between that. So that is equivalent to the applied potential between the emitter and the collector. So that will be 2 electron volt, because 2 volt is being applied. So the minimum energy will be 2 electron volt. However, the maximum energy will be the voltage applied plus the kinetic energy that electron is having that are being emitted from the metal surface, which is 1.7 electron volt. So the applied voltage, corresponding energy, and the energy of emitted electron, if you sum, then we will have the maximum energy of photoelectron that is being emitted. So it will be 2.0 plus 1.7, that will be 3.7 electron volt. Okay, so let us take the next problem. It says that when a metal plate is exposed to a monochromatic beam of light of wavelength 400 nanometer, a negative potential of 1.1 volt is needed to stop the photocurrent. Find the threshold wavelength for the metal. So it is asking about the work function of the material and its corresponding wavelength. So you can see in the diagram, so 400 nanometer light is being shined, and the electron is being emitted from the emitter, and to reach this electron to the collector, a voltage of 1.1 volt was applied. So this will be the kinetic energy of the photoelectron. So we see that the lambda given is 400 nanometer, and the kinetic energy is 1.1 electron volt. So as per the equation, Sc by lambda is equal to kinetic energy plus work function. So we have Sc by lambda is equal to kinetic energy plus work function. We can replace by a wavelength which is lambda 0. So that will be Sc by lambda 0. So that is a lambda 0 corresponding wavelength which is equivalent to the work function. So we can rewrite it Sc by lambda 0 is equal to Sc by lambda minus kinetic energy. This we can say equation 1. So put all these values of Planck's constant and the velocity of light and the incident radiation wavelength, which is 400 nanometer, minus 1.1, which is the stopping potential, and multiply by 1.6 10 to power minus 19 to convert that into joule. So we will have Sc by lambda will be equal to 3.21 into 10 to power minus 19. So the lambda naught, lambda 0, that will be, you rearrange, put the value of Sc, then we will have lambda 0 will be equal to 620 nanometer. Okay, let us take next problem. So it says a beam of 450 nanometer light is incident on a metal surface having a work function of 2.0 electron volt and placed in a magnetic field B. Considering that energetic electrons are emitted only perpendicular to the magnetic field and are bent in circular arc of radius 20 centimeter, find the value of magnetic field B. So in this question, it is given that the plate where the electrons are emitted, the magnetic field are perpendicular to that, and all the electrons are emitted perpendicular to the magnetic field. So under these assumptions, so let us start. So the wavelength of incident light is 450 nanometer. So as per the equation, Sc by lambda is equal to kinetic energy plus work function, and the work function is 2.0 electron volt. So we put these values. So it will be 6.63 10 to power minus 34, the Planck's constant, multiplied by velocity of light, which is 3.0 10 to power 8, divided by 450 nanometer. So that in the meter it will be 450 10 to power minus 9 meter, will be equal to kinetic energy. So kinetic energy of electron will be 1 by 2 m mass of electron, v velocity of light, so 1 by 2 mv square, plus work function, which is 2.0 into 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So 1 by 2 mv square, if you rearrange, so 1 by 2 mv square will be 1.22 10 to power minus 19. So from here we can calculate the value of mv. So if you multiply both sides by m and then 2 will go on the other side, so the mv will be 2 into 9.1 10 to power minus 31 into 1.22 10 to power minus 19. So mv will be 4.67 10 to power minus 25 kilogram meter per second. So we can say this equation 1. So from here, now since you can see this schematic diagram, so this is a plate and 450 nanometer radiation is shining on this plate and this electron is emitted. So this is step 1. So the electron is emitted with a velocity v and mass is m, and the magnetic field B is applied perpendicular, so that is in the direction 2. So the force on this electron will be in the direction 3, so that will force the electron to bend, and the bending radius is given 20 centimeter. So if we equate that forces, so we know that the radius will be mv divided by qb, where q is the charge on the electron and b is the magnetic field. So from here, magnetic field we can rearrange, so b will be mv divided by qr. So mv we have already calculated, so it is 4.67 10 to power minus 25 divided by q, that is charge on the electron, so it is 1.6 10 to power minus 19, and r is given, and that meter it will be 0.2. So from here b is equal to 1.46 10 to power minus 5 Tesla. So in the next problem, it is mentioned that the electric field associated with a light wave is given by E is equal to E0 sine in the bracket 1.57 10 to power 7 meter inverse in the bracket close. The next bracket it is given x minus CT. So find the stopping potential when this light is used in an experiment on photoelectric effect with the emitter having a work function of 1.9 electron volt. So we start. So we have in this question it is given omega. So omega in this question is 1.57 10 to power 7 multiplied by c, where c is the velocity of light. So from here we can calculate frequency. So frequency will be omega by 2 pi. So it is 1.57 10 to power 7 multiplied by 3.0 10 to power 8 divided by 2 into pi, which is 3.14. So that will be in hertz. So work function is given 1.9 electron volt. So as per the equation, h nu is equal to kinetic energy plus work function. So the kinetic energy of electron, so we can write it kinetic energy and ELE, that stands for electron, will be equal to h nu minus 5. So you put all these values. So h will be 6.63 10 to power minus 34 into 1.57 10 to power 7 into 3 10 to power 8 divided by 2 into 3.14 into 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So we have converted that term into electron volt as the work function is already given in the electron volt. So we have work function is 1.9 electron volt. So the kinetic energy will be 3.107 minus 1.9 electron volt. So the kinetic energy will be 1.207 electron volt. So this is the kinetic energy. So the stopping potential that need to be stopped for this electron will be 1.207 volt. So you can see in schematic. So the radiation is shining on the plate and the electron are emitted and reaching to the plate. So we can apply a negative potential, okay, to stop this electron. And since this is an electron of maximum kinetic energy, so the voltage, the stopping potential can be calculated. Now let us see the next problem. So in the next problem, it says that in an arrangement which is shown in the figure, y is 1 millimeter, d is 0.24 millimeter, and capital D, which is the distance between this fringe and the source, is 1.2 meter. The work function of the material of emitter is 2.2 electron volt. Now find the stopping potential we needed to stop the photocurrent. Okay, so now we can see that how to proceed. So we know that what is the fringe width. So fringe width is given from one side, it is 1 millimeter. So the total width will be twice of that. So it will be 2 millimeter. Now D is given. So what is the small d? D is the 0.24 millimeter, and phi is given, which is 2.2 electron volt, and capital D is 1.2 meter, where all the symbols have their usual meaning. So we can see that y, okay, so the which is the width of fringe, that will be lambda capital D divided by small d. So lambda wavelength will be y small d divided by the capital D. So you put all these values, okay, and then like 2 into 10 to power minus 3 into 0.24 10 to power minus 3 divided by 1.2 meter. So where we will have the lambda will be 4 into 10 to power minus 7 meter. So if this is a wavelength, then the energy corresponding to that will be Sc divided by lambda. So we can easily calculate that, and it will be 3.105 electron volt. So stopping potential will be EV naught is equal to 3.105 minus 2.2. So that will be equal to 0.905 volt. Now the next question says that a small piece of cesium metal with a work function 1.9 electron volt is kept at a distance of 20 centimeter from a large metal plate having a charge density of 1.0 10 to power minus 9 coulomb per meter square on the surface facing the cesium piece. A monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometer is incident on the cesium piece. Find the minimum and maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons reaching the large metal plate. Neglect any charge in electric field due to the small piece of cesium percent. So this is a very interesting question. So here the charge density rho is given, which is 1 10 to power minus 9 coulomb per meter square. Work function of the metal is given 1.9 electron volt, and incident wavelength is 400 nanometer, and the spacing is 20 centimeter, which is 0.2 meter. So the electric potential due to the charge plate will be V is equal to E into D. So electric field will be E will be sigma by epsilon naught. So that is a charge density, okay, divided by epsilon naught. So if you put the value of E there, then V will be sigma by epsilon naught into D. D is the spacing. So you put that values. So 1 into 10 to power minus 9, and then divide into 20, divide by 8 into 8, 8.85 10 to power minus 12, divided by 100 because that is in centimeter. So V will be 22.7 volt. So from there, SC by lambda is equal to 5 plus kinetic energy. So we know that if you rearrange it, so kinetic energy will be SC by lambda minus 5. So you put all these values of constants, okay, and phi is already given. So we will have the kinetic energy is 1.205, okay. So this kinetic energy of this electron is very, very small in comparison to the voltage between the plate. So minimum kinetic energy, because the electron is being emitted from the cesium surface, okay, and then they will accelerate towards the other plate. So if any electron is just emitting from the surface, so it will be accelerated with a voltage that is between the cesium and the other plate, and that is 22.7 electron volt. So the minimum kinetic energy of the photoelectron will be the voltage between that, so that will be 22.7 electron volt. And the maximum kinetic energy, we will just add the kinetic energy of an electron plus the accelerating voltage that is exists between the plates. So we will have the maximum kinetic energy will be 22.7 plus 1.205 electron volt. So the maximum kinetic energy will be 23.905 electron volt, and the minimum kinetic energy will be 22.7 electron volt. Okay, let us take next problem. It says a light beam of wavelength 400 nanometer is incident on a metal plate of work function 2.2 electron volt. The particular electron absorbs a photon and makes collision before coming out of metal. Assuming that 10% of the energy is lost to the metal in each collision, find the minimum number of collision by the electron before it becomes unable to come out of the metal. So here we have a metal surface which has a work function of 2.2 electron volt, and a 400 nanometer wavelength is shining on the metal surface, and the electron before coming out it is making number of collision, and in one collision it is losing 10% of its energy. So we have to calculate how much energy is remaining after the collision, and when this energy is less than the work function of this material, then this electron will be unable to come out from the metal surface. So wavelength given is 400 nanometer and work function is 2.2 electron volt. So we have to calculate the energy corresponding to the photon. So this is SC by lambda, which will be 6.63 10 to power minus 34 into 3 10 to power 8 divided by 400 10 to power minus 9 divided by 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So that will be equal to 3.1 electron volt. So after collision, the first collision, the energy loss is 10%. So 0.31 electron volt energy will be lost after the first collision. So how much energy remains after the first collision? So the energy remains is 3.1 electron volt minus 0.31 electron volt. So that will be equal to 2.79 electron volt. So this is the energy remaining after the first collision. Now when the electron is ready to do second collision, and again it will lose is 10%. So that will be 10% of 2.79, that is remaining energy will be 0.279. So after second collision, the energy remaining with the electron will be 2.79 minus 0.279. So that will be 2.511 electron volt, which is after second collision. So after third collision, the energy loss will be 2.511. 10% of that will be 0.2511 electron volt. So the energy remains after third collision is 2.2599 electron volt. Now the energy lost after the fourth collision is 2.2599, that is 10% of that. That will be 0.22599 electron volt. So the energy remains after fourth collision is 2.033 electron volt. So the energy of an electron after the fourth collision is 2.033. So and that energy is less than the work function of the metal. So after fourth collision, so the question asks the minimum number of collision. So after fourth collision, the electron will not be able to come out if the electron is even at the surface. Now let us take some question from the Bohr's model. So now we have the question says a hydrogen atom in ground state absorb a photon of ultraviolet radiation of wavelength 50 nanometer. Now assuming that the entire photon energy is taken up by the electron, with what kinetic energy will the electron be ejected? So we have a positive center and the electron is revolving in the ground state, and 50 nanometer radiation is absorbed by this electron. So what is the energy of photon? So energy of photon will be Sc by lambda. You put all these values and divide this number by 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 to convert that into electron volt. So you will have 24.84 electron volt. So that is the energy of this incident photon. Now energy required to remove this electron. So what we are doing, we are going from n is equal to 1 orbit to n is equal to infinite. So the energy for that, we know it is 13.6 electron volt. That is the ionization energy of hydrogen atom. So the kinetic energy of electron, so whatever the energy of incident photon, that is 24.84 minus the energy required to remove this electron, that is 13.6 electron volt. So if you subtract that, we will have the kinetic energy 11.24 electron volt. Now the next question says a beam of light having wavelength distributed uniformly between 450 nanometer to 550 nanometer passes through a sample of hydrogen gas. Which wavelength will have the least intensity in the transmitted beam? So what is the question? So there is a chamber is filled with the hydrogen, and the continuous spectrum for 450 to 550 nanometer is passed through that. Now they are asking that which wavelength will be less or will be least in the transmitted. So the wavelength that will be least in the transmitted will be the wavelength that is being absorbed by this hydrogen atom. But we know that hydrogen atom can only absorb the energy which is corresponding to the transition of the from n is equal to 2 to 3, 3 to 4, or 4 to 5. So it says now this energy is in the visible region 450 nanometer to 550 nanometer, and that is we know that the transition is coming from n3 n is equal to 3 to n is equal to 2, or n is equal to 4 to n is equal to 2, or n is equal to 5 is equal to n is equal to 2. So let us see what will be the energy corresponding to these radiation, and then we can see which wavelength will be absorbed. So the radiation in the range of, we know that 450 nanometer to 550 nanometer. So the corresponding energy to 450 nanometer will be 2.75 electron volt, because SC, if we put the value of SC, so which is 1240 electron volt into nanometer divided by 450 nanometer, so we will have 2.75 electron volt. For 550 nanometer, so we can similarly calculate, so that will be 2.26 electron volt. So this is the total range of the radiation that we are getting or shining on the hydrogen gas. So the light comes under the visible region as already mentioned. So transition from the n is equal to 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we can calculate the energy corresponding to these transitions. So if the transition is from 2 to 3, then we will have 13.6 electron volt, and then multiply by 1 by n is equal to 2 square, so that will be 1 by 4, minus n is equal to 3 square, so that will be 1 by 9. So total will be 1.9 electron volt. Similarly, corresponding to 2 to 4, we will have like 13.6 and into 1 by 4 minus 1 by 16. So that value will be 2.55 electron volt. And corresponding to the final transition, that is E2 minus E5. So that will be 13.6 multiplied by 1 by 4 and minus 1 by 25. So that this value will be 2.856 electron volt. So we can see from all this energy, the transition from E2 to 4 comes in the range of the radiation that we are shining on the hydrogen gas. So the wavelength corresponding to that, okay, so what will be the wavelength corresponding to that? So the wavelength will be 1240 electron volt nanometer divided by 2.55 nanometer, that is energy corresponding to E2 E4 transition. So we will have the wavelength exactly will be 486 nanometer. So if you are shining from left side the radiation of a broad spectrum, okay, the 486 nanometer wavelength will be absent in the transmitted beam, because that is being absorbed, and the hydrogen is reaching from n is equal to 2 to n is equal to 4 state. Now the next question says, suppose a monochromatic X-ray beam of wavelength 100 picometer is sent through a young double slit, okay, and the interference pattern is observed on a photographic plate placed 40 centimeter away from the slit. What would be the separation between the slit so that successive maxima on the screen are separated by a distance of 0.1 millimeter? So this is kind of arrangement. So we have small d, okay, is the spacing between the slit, and d is the capital D, the spacing between the slit and the screen, and the lambda, this is incident wavelength, is 100 picometer. So we know that distance between the successive maxima, that is represented by beta, will be lambda capital D by small d. So d, small d will be lambda capital D by beta. So we put all these values, and then we will have d is 4 into 10 to power minus 7 meter, or 400 nanometer. Now the next question says that the electric current from the target to the filament in an X-ray tube operating at 40 kilowatt is 10 milliampere. Assume that on an average 1% of the total kinetic energy of electrons hitting the target are converted into X-ray. What is the total power emitted as X-ray? So if we see in this diagram, so the electron is being accelerated Okay, and they are targeted on a particular metal to emit the X-ray. So we will have the characteristic as well as continuous X-rays, and it is saying that like 1% of the total kinetic energy of this electron, which are being accelerated at 40 kilowatt, is converted into X-rays. So what will be the power? So we know that what is the accelerating voltage to this electron is 30 kilovolt, and what is the current is 30 milliampere. So we know that current is the number of charge and then a number of charge particles and the charge on the single particle. So the N will be I current divided by the charge. So it will be 3.0 10 to power minus 3, okay, divided by 1.6 10 to power minus 19. So it will be 0.625 10 to power 17 photoelectrons per second. So kinetic energy of one electron is 1.6 10 to power minus 19 into 40 10 to power 3, because it is kilovolt. So that will be 6.4 10 to power minus 15 joule. So the total kinetic energy will be 0.625 into 6.4 10 to power minus 15 into 10 to power 17. So that will be 4.0 10 to power 2 joule. Power emitted by X-ray, as we are saying, actually it is only 1%. So this will be a 4 10 to power 2 into 1 divided by 100. So the total power emitted as an X-ray is 4 watt. Okay, so let us take next problem. So next problem says an X-ray tube operates at 40 kilovolt. Suppose the electron converts 70% of its energy into photon at each collision. Find the lowest 3 wavelengths emit from the tube. Neglect the energy impacted to the atom with which electron collides. Hello? Okay, let us take the next problem. And it says an X-ray tube operates at 40 kilovolt. Suppose the electron converts 70% of its energy into a photon at each collision. Find the lowest 3 wavelengths emitted from the tube. Neglect the energy impacted to the atom with which electron collides. So the question suggests we have to neglect the collision energy between electron and atom, and we have to calculate 3 wavelengths, okay, and tube is operated at 40 kilovolt. So voltage at which the tube is being operated is 40 kilovolt, so that will be 40 10 to power 3 volt. So energy utilized, suppose in the first collision, the energy utilized is 70% of it. So 70 divided by 100 into 40, okay, and 10 to power 3. So it will be 28 into 10 to power 3. So that is the energy being utilized. So what will be the wavelength corresponding to that? So the wavelength corresponding to that will be SC by E, and we know that the value of SC is 1240 electron volt into nanometer divided by 28 10 to power 3. That is the energy utilized to convert into X-ray. So the wavelength of the first X-ray will be 44 picometer. For other wavelengths, so now we know that what is the energy left. So E will be 70% of the leftover energy. So it will be 70% and then 40 minus 28. Okay, so 28 is the energy left after that. So now we have the energy is 84 10 to power 2. Now the wavelength corresponding to that we can calculate in the same manner. So it will be SC divided by E. It will be 1240 electron volt nanometer divided by 84 10 to power 2. So we will have the wavelength is 148 picometer. Now for third wavelength, now again it is 70% of leftover. So it will be 12 minus 8.4 into 10 to power 3. So we will have 25.2 into 10 to power 2. Now the wavelength corresponding to that will be 1240 electron volt nanometer divided by 25.2 10 to power 2. So the wavelength, third wavelength will be 493 picometer. So with that, this is the end of the lecture, and thank you very much for your attention.